gentlemen, welcome here as we get set for our 12th race of the season, the second season, or make that the fourth season, I should say. Wow, don't know where I got second season from. Fourth season of the NCAA Hersheys Cup Series. We're getting ready for our main event race here today. It's been a wild weekend already with the Hersheys Cup Series non-charter series and yesterday's Pizza Hut X Series races, and we're getting ready to see what's going to happen when the Monster Mile now has 42 drivers on track for 60 laps of racing, adding another 20 laps onto what we had in the past two events here. So this should be a very, very interesting race. It could come down to pit strategy. It could come down to maybe a long green flag run. Who knows? We were under the caution flag for a total of, I believe, 8 or 9 times in the past two races that we've had here so far this weekend. We'll see how many times the yellow flag rears its ugly head in this one. J Bryant lines up on the pole. Young Motorsports still looking for their first win of the season. Levi McIntyre has been close a couple of times. Dylan Young's finished in the top 10 a few times. J Bryant trying to see if he can get his team going, that 22 team, a team that had a win last season. Still looking for their first win here of Season 4. Alongside of him, Joshua Ciculli. Ciculli had a great run last week at Orlando, as did most of the CJ Racing drivers. But Ciculli still looking for his first win since Season 2. Has himself another good starting position on the outside of Row 1. Joshua Michaels, another driver that's actually been having a pretty stellar season. He's second in the point standings coming into today's race. He rolls off third, looking for his first win since Season 2, the season finale at Auto Club. And alongside of him, K Llamas, former winner last season, but we haven't really seen much of Cody up at the front in these races lately. He's 12th in points, so he's still been having a pretty stellar season, but just not been up there in the factoring for the win, it seems, in that Dodge Dart of NW Racing. And look who's rolling off from 5th. The guy who comes in as the points leader and right now situated as the only repeat winner this year, D Poteet, who took his second checkered flag of the season last week at Orlando. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
There's the command to fire them up. D Poteet, the only driver in this field that has 2 green win stickers on the B pillar of his Chevrolet. He might get joined by somebody today if we can have another repeat winner here today at Dover, but we're going to have to see what happens. Point stands coming into this race. We already alluded to the fact that D Poteet is the points leader. With his win last week, he is now 95 points ahead of an actual tie for second, who said Joshua Michaels is second in the points. He's actually tied with Trent Dunham for second in the standings. Then fourth in points is Levi McIntire, who's rolling off this race from the 12th position. Anthony McCrury is 5th in the standings. J Arndt is 6th. J McCloud 7th. Brandon Gonzales in 8th. Ciculli is up in 9th. And Zachary Fitzwater, who by 2/100ths of a second just missed out on his first win of the season last week in Orlando, is now up to 10th in the points. Let's give you a little further down the running order of the point standings. Brooke Allen is 11th in the standings. K Llamas is 12th. N Hudson is 13th. 14th, L Alvarise, and 15th, Charles Sandfer. So we'll see if any of them move up into the top 10 in the points after this one is over. Getting set for 60 laps of racing. Let's see what we're going to get. Flagman has the green flag out. We're underway at Dover. Race obviously going to have stage racing. Completion of lap 15 is the end of stage 1. Completion of lap 30 is the end of stage 2. And then we have a 30-lap stage 3. As the battle for the lead is on, and J Bryant lost it first lap, led by the points leader, D Poteet, over Joshua Michaels. Poteet, a former winner at Dover back in the now retired Snickers Cup Series, so he knows how to get around the Monster Mile. He's got Cole Baker right behind him. Baker's been over a season since he's been to victory lane. Back at Talladega in Season 3 was when Baker had his only win of the season. He's right behind D Poteet, J Bryant there in 3rd, K Llamas in 4th, Michaels 5th, and the caution is out. So that did not take us long. Lap 3 will be when the first yellow flag will come out here at Dover. And looks like an incident heading down into turn 1. That's going to be pretty much the story this whole week, I think, this whole race. It was in the non-charter series race. It was in the Pizza Hut X Series race. Brooke Allen driving away, and looks like the 3-car might have been involved. That's 11th in the point standings coming into this race. Doesn't look really any damage on her car. Have Shearer back here, a little bit of front end damage on Trent Dunham, and there's a little bit of a buckle on the hood of Kyle Mathews' car as well. Carson Gum back here. Everybody else, for the most part, looks like they're pretty good. Maybe a little bit of left side damage there on Ryan George, but for the most part, I don't really see anybody with extensive damage. We may have gotten away with one here at Dover, which is very unusual based on the hard licks we've seen taken so far this race weekend. Dylan Poteet, though, out in front, showing the way here at Dover. Let's go back and see what happened on lap number 3. And they were 4 wide back here, close in the middle of the pack. Trent Dunham, Keith Batson, Anthony McCrury, and K Tellier, and I think J Arndt was also on the inside line of all that. Contact's going to happen right there between, I think it was J Arndt and Anthony McCrury. That sends McCrury down into the one of Trent Dunham, turns him around, and then McCurry's going to sweep up Keith Batson, and there's a little bit of contact for Ryan George, who I think is going to go down and get the inside wall right there. That's where he got his left side damage. Further back, Z Flickinger on the brakes trying to wall up. He might have gotten hit from behind by J Baskinger trying to slow down. There's Kyle Mathews. He gets into the 61 of McCrury. Jonathan Zorlin going to get the wall trying to get through. Carson Gum also with some contact there as well on his 85 car. So had maybe about 7-8 cars get damage out of this, but not much. One car that probably got the most damage out of this whole thing might have been Kyle Mathews, as he kind of T-boned Anthony McCrury, but he did not even come to pit road under this caution so far, so he's apparently not got enough damage that they feel it has to be repaired. It's Dover. You don't necessarily have to have a clean race car to still be up to speed at this kind of a racetrack. Aerodynamics don't really come into play, so looks like everybody will still be able to continue. Pretty big wreck there out of turn number 4 and into turn 1, but looks like we pretty much, like I said, got away with one. Not a whole lot of extensive damage for any of the drivers involved. We haven't yet gotten the 1 to green signal. We probably will get it this time by, so more than likely we'll go back green on lap 8 of 60. And as I said, nobody came to pit road under that caution, under this caution that we're working, including the drivers that were involved in the incident. And so all 42 cars that took the green flag to start this race will take the green flag to restart this race. Trent Dunham going to be starting at the tail end of the field, as will be Brooke Allen. Actually, Trent Dunham might have come to pit road, because Brooke Allen was behind him when they all left the scene of the accident. So Trent might have been the only car that came to pit road, but they got it repaired. They got him back out there. So we do not have anybody out of the race after this first yellow. Top 10 as we get ready to go back to green. It's Dylan Poteet out in front, trying to win his 2nd race in a row, 3rd win of the season, which would lock him into the chase regardless, I think, of what happens this season. Cole Baker is going to restart 2nd, J Bryant 3rd, Joshua Michaelson 4th. 5th will be Cody Llamas, then it's Ciculli. Matt Haas is now up in 7th, Johnny Gardner in 8th, and then the Young Motorsports drivers of Dylan Young and Levi McIntyre. So all 3 of the Young Motorsports Fords running in the top 10, currently 3rd, 9th, and 10th. Of the drivers inside the top 10, 2 of them have been to victory lane this season. Poteet twice and Matt Haas once at Talladega. And in this series, wins are so important to get yourself into the chase for the championship later on this season. Green flag back out. We're back underway. Also, next week we head to Richmond, and then after that it's the All-Star race weekend, so a win here also locks you into the All-Star race. You don't have to try and rely on the shootout to get in. Cole Baker stuck with Dylan Poteet, and he's going to take a look to the inside here, going into 3 and 4. And he make it work, not this time, but he's still peeking out of line. You see him kind of moving down there about a half groove on the front straightaway. That's to try and get some clean air to the grill to allow him to not be overheating running behind Dylan Poteet Chevrolet. Caution is out again. And Baker, almost tried the bump and dump there, or the bump and run, whichever the case may be. But he's going to have to stay behind Poteet again as the caution waves once more. Oh boy, here they go into turn 1, and fortunately everybody has cleared whatever happened there into that corner. That's one thing that really is scary when you see the leaders heading down into turn number 1. You see that smoke lingering, and sometimes drivers don't have the benefit of being able to leave the scene of the accident as quickly as they would like to, and the leaders don't slow down as quickly as they should because they've taken the stripe, and it's only a couple 100 feet down to turn 1, so they can't stop on a dime. And we've seen drivers that are running inside the top 5 this weekend get taken out of a good finish just because they aren't able to slow up and they get into a car that was involved in a wreck on the previous lap. But it looks like Brandon Gonzales is on pit road. There's another car on the pit lane that might be Anthony McCrury, 61. I'm not certain. It's either McCrury or possibly Sean Gallighan's 44. No, Gallighan's still running, so I think it might have been McCrury. And we also saw Ryan George leaving the scene of the accident on the back straightaway. So let's see what happened. Second caution of the day is out here at Dover. Well, again, an incident middle of the pack. Brandon Gonzales, who had such a great run last week, moved himself up to 8th in the point standings, gets taken out here by the non-charter car of Ryan George, and oh boy, then Ryan comes right back up into Sean Henley, Keith Batson, Jonathan Zorlin, Carson Gum, nowhere to go, and then Brandon Gonzales sweeps up right in front of Anthony McCrury. Trent Dunham going to get a piece of it right there in the one car. So a lot of the drivers that got involved in the first wreck got involved in the second wreck due to the fact that they were at the rear of the field. Boy, just that's the problem here with Dover. You sweep back up into turn one and it just clogs up the racetrack. There was a nice job done there by Brooke Allen and Kev Shearer to dive to the inside to avoid that. That was a nice miss by both of those Chevrolets. But that's to put us under the caution for the second time here today at the Monster Mile. Now we'll get ready to go back to green. This incident, not nearly as gentle, if that can be even used as a word in racing, as the first one was. We have a couple drivers a lap down. You see Brandon Gonzales, Anthony McCurry had extended days on pit road to repair their race cars. Ryan George has been on and off pit road, and we do have one driver out of the race, that being the 85 of Carson Gums. So one driver out, two drivers a lap down, which means of our 42 cars, 39 are still on the lead lap, 41 are still running. So Dylan Poteet will have to contend with slower lap machines on the inside line for the first time today. We'll have to see what he's able to do. Will Cole Baker, Joshua Michaels, Johnny Gardner, J Bryant, will they be able to utilize that to their benefit here on this restart? We're getting close to the end of stage one as well, about 2 more laps when we hit the line before the first stage is completed. And Poteet would love to get those 10 valuable bonus points, continue to grow his points lead. Green flag back out. We're back underway here at Dover on lap 14. Poteet gets around the lap machines and Baker does the same. So does Joshua Michaels. Baker had to spend a little bit more time on that outside line getting around the slower machines, and so Poteet was able to start getting away just the least little bit. Baker trying to close it up here, though, through 3 and 4. We're on to lap 15. Next time by is the completion of the first stage. Baker trying to run a slightly higher line there through 1 and 2, try and get a good run, a good launch off of 2 down the back straightaway, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get even to Poteet's back bumper. So Dylan Poteet, things just continue to go right for that 31 team. He'll win stage number 1 here today at Dover over Cole Baker and Joshua Michaels. Rest of the top 10 looks like it's going to be J Bryant, Levi McIntyre, Cody Llamas, Charles Sandfer, Blaine Keys, Dylan Young, and Garrett Sydnor will get the final bonus point here for the completion of stage 1. Top 3 have broken away. They're a long ways ahead. They are almost 3 seconds ahead of now 4th place driver Levi McIntyre. Cody Llamas right behind him in 5th. And I think a big reason for this is because they had a little bit more difficulty getting around the slower lap traffic, namely Brandon Gonzales, but they'll get the bunch back up because the caution is back out here on lap 17. And it wasn't turn 1 this time, it looks like. Maybe it was. No, it was turn 2. Oh man, there's a lot of cars involved in this one. Johnny Gardner, Matt Haas, our Talladega race winner. Smoking Ryan George collected in yet another one. And was that all there was, really? Uh-oh, pit stops, though. The top 3 are in, so everybody's going to be making pit stops. But Johnny Gardner and Matt Haas were both up inside the top 10. Gardner restarted the race inside the top 10 on that last restart. Looks like both of their days are over. There you see McIntyre, Llamas, Dylan Young, Charles Sandfer further back there. They're going to be probably battling off pit road for 4th because the leaders, the top 3, came in so far ahead. Let's see if Joshua Michaels or Cole Baker's team can step it up enough to beat D Poteet off pit road. 4 tires stopped, so that's not surprising. Grip levels here very, very low. Poteet out of pit road. Michaels tries to beat him out, can't do it. Let's see if Cole Baker's team's able to get him out ahead. There's Baker, and he's not even going to get off pit road ahead of Joshua Michaels. He'll come out in third, so it'll be Poteet, Michaels, and Baker will be the top 3 when we go back green. Michaels picks up a spot on pit road. Cole Baker will lose a spot, and D Poteet remains at status quo. He'll be the leader when we go back green. Just about a third of the way through this race. Let's take a look and see what happened for our 3rd yellow flag of the day. Well, this was in turn 2. This is the first time we've really had an incident in turn 2, and oh, it looks like Ryan George was trying to get out of the way of drivers to his inside, and Matt Haas was up on his outside, and the 91 just gets hooked by the 78. And then you look down further here, there's Johnny Gardner. He tries to get down low, and Anthony McCurry's down the apron, and I think McCurry may have come back up into Gardner. Sent Gardner up into the wall. Nice save there by Joshua Ciculli. He started on the outside of the front row. He's dropped way back, has the 33. And then, if I'm not mistaken, we may have had a plow here. Matt Haas trying to keep going, and Gardner's car just keeps on sliding down the racetrack, and there's the contact, and that is what pretty much was the death knell for both drivers. That's when the black smoke starts erupting from beneath both of Gardner's Dodge Dart and Matt Haas's Toyota Camry. So tough break for both of those drivers. Johnny Gardner coming into this race was 28th in the point standings. Matt Haas, our Talladega race winner, 16th in points. So Gardner could ill afford a bad run. Of course, Matt Haas trying to keep himself in the top 30 in the point standings to have his win at Dega count towards a spot in the chase for his 2nd straight season. But neither one of them going to want to remember Dover on this schedule, I think, because they're both probably at this point out of this event. Green flag will come back out again, this time on lap 22 of 60, so we are past the 1/3 of the way through this race mark. Anthony McCurry, Brandon Gonzales, and now Ryan George will line up on the inside line a lap down. And you can see out of the race the cars of Matt Haas, Johnny Gardner, and Carson Gums. 36 cars on the lead lap of the 39 still running. D Poteet still the race leader, and now it'll be interesting to see if Levi McIntyre, Cody Llamas, Dylan Young, those guys from 4th on back, if they'll finally be able to get rid of the lap traffic, because that was a big issue for them on the last restart. The top 3 were all able to scamper away and battle amongst themselves. Poteet now has Joshua Michaels behind him, as Michaels was able to come in 3rd, come out 2nd off of pit road. Baker came in 2nd, came out 3rd, so they swap positions for this restart. Flagman ready, green flag back out. Poteet got a good start last time. Going to get a good start this time? Not this time. He was not able to clear Anthony McCurry before they got to 1. Now he clears him. Michaels and Baker will clear as well. Levi McIntyre went down to the bottom of the racetrack, and that's going to cost him. He's getting held up. I think that's by Ryan George. Oh, look out! Poteet, Michaels, Baker, they're back onto pit lane. Now, I don't know what this is about, but they are on pit road again. The top 3. Now, the only thing I'm possibly able to figure out is if they might have been speeding on pit road. Or is this strategy? Do they think the thing's going to go green the rest of the way? They're going to go a lap down as the new race leader is Dylan Young in the 2. Sandfer now moves into 2nd. McIntyre's 3rd, J Bryant 4th, and Dallas McIntosh now completes the top 5. Trying to get word on just exactly why the top 3 are back on the pit lane, because that is extremely unusual. And I gotta think that it has something to do with when they came to pit road. The thing I'm wondering is, with the way that they were so far ahead, and not waiting for fourth place to catch up and everything, when they dove to pit road, did they come down a closed pit lane? Don't know. We didn't see the lights at the pit road entrance, so I can't know for certain if that was the case, but that might have been it. They might have come down a closed pit road. But they were behind the pace car, so I don't see how that would have been the case. Maybe it is strategy. Maybe they all felt that this thing's going to go green to the end. Right now, we're in a bit of a green flag run, so maybe they're correct. Maybe all these other drivers can't make it on fuel, and they're going to have to pit before this race is over. Right now, a couple of them are 2 laps down. Michaels and Poteet, I think, are 2 laps down. Baker is 1 lap down to the race leader. And they, I guess, are just hoping the caution doesn't come out as the battle for the lead is on, and it was a very quick battle. J Bryant, the pole sitter, goes back to the race lead. Dallas McIntosh slides by in second. With Dylan Young back to third, and he may not hold on to that spot for long. Here comes Blaine Keys in the 42. Dallas McIntosh was a 2-time winner last season when he drove the number 16 Ford. Sega Motorsports already with 1 win this season at Rio de Janeiro, courtesy of Trent Dunham, but Dallas McIntosh would obviously like to be able to get himself a victory. And caution is out. McIntosh almost beating JT Bryant to the yellow flag, but he did not. And now that was not what Dylan Poteet, Joshua Michaels, or Cole Baker wanted to see. Now Baker, I think, stayed ahead of the leader, so he's only 1 lap down. On the other hand, Dylan Poteet and Joshua Michaels, they are trapped 2 laps down to the race leaders. So that is not good. The strategy did not work out for really any of those drivers, to be honest. And the leader's not going to come to pit road this time. So we just reached the halfway point, and Dallas McIntosh, the reason he was racing really hard to get JT Bryant at the line is because this time, by crossing the line, we are completing our second stage of the race, which JT Bryant will get 10 valuable bonus points now for winning. McIntosh, Dylan Young, Blaine Keys, Tim Walsh, then Brooke Allen, James McCloud, K Tellier, Cody Llamas, and Kev Shearer, go home non-chartered car, will get the final point for this stage. So we're under caution for this is the 4th time here today. Let's take a look and see what happened right at the midway point of this race. Well, we said Dylan Poteet, that strategy now working out for him, made the day pretty bad. Well, it gets even worse for the 31 car. Came in as the points leader. Levi McIntyre gets a little loose off the corner, gets into Poteet, and then down into Cody Llamas. I want you to know the car that's going to go spinning around is going to be the 31. Poteet slides it down the back straightaway, down into the turn 3 vicinity, and he's going to get clobbered by somebody. It might be Benjamin Miles in the 25. Yep, right there. Boy, that's some pretty bad left front damage on Benjamin Miles, and that might be it for Miles' day. And then, L Alvarise and Nathan Hudson just barely get by. And boy, that day goes worse for Dylan Poteet, and a tough break there for Benjamin Miles in the 25 car as well. Had a horrible run last week at Orlando, and now was running up just outside of the top 10, and now it looks like his day is done here at Dover as well. It's been a struggling season for that 25 team as well. And as we've gotten the signal 1 lap to green, lap cars will line up on the inside line. We'll go back green on lap 34 of 60. And indeed, Benjamin Miles has taken his car behind the wall. So a tough break there for the driver of the 25. Benjamin Miles, this certainly is not a good start to the season for him. You think about last year when he had a win, but he was outside the top 30 in the points, so his win didn't count towards a spot in the chase for the championship. Well, he came into today's race 31st in the point standings, so things have not seemed to in any way get better from the transition of Season 3 here into Season 4. We have, I think, 6 lap machines on the inside line, Dylan Poteet amongst them. along with Joshua Michaels, Cole Baker, Brandon Gonzales, Anthony McCrury, and Ryan George. So that will really stack things up for drivers that cannot clear the lap traffic on this restart. J Bryant going to have to hope he gets himself a good start here and is able to clear the traffic and scamper away. Green flag back out. We're back underway here at Dover. And it looks like Bryant got a good jump. He's going to clear Joshua Michaels before getting into turn 1. I was just looking back onto this last caution at the former winners at this track. Cody Llamas is actually the defending winner of this race. And he restarts up here in the 9th position, so looking for a chance to go back-to-back at Dover. The other 2 former winners back from Season 1 and Season 2. Season 1, it was the retired Michael Norman who went to victory lane. His car, though, that 3 machine, is up in 6th place with Brooke Allen behind the wheel. And James Richardson was the winner in Season 2. We saw him in the non-charter race here a couple of days ago, but he didn't transfer here into today's main event. Caution is out again, as they are 3 wide coming to the line back here for 4th place. And it's like a broken record, that yellow flag continuing to wave. Again, another incident down the back straightaway and into 3, and it looks like we had at least 3 to 4 cars involved in this one. J Bryant must be loving these cautions, though, because every lap that he's able to lead under caution is one last lap that he has to defend that position under green flag conditions. And I can't see anybody on pit road, so I don't know who necessarily was involved, but we're about to find out. Caution's out one more time here at Dover, and we will take a look at yet another replay. Pace car's got to catch up here. Well, as the race progresses on and we get closer to the finish, drivers that are near the rear making more aggressive moves, and right there, it looks like just like Nathan Hudson got loose off the corner, got up the racetrack, and Ciculli had nowhere to go. Sean Henley involved. Nathan Hudson gets spun around, as does Zachary Fitzwater. Joseph Srigley hangs on to the thing. Ryan George spins as well. And, ooh, Kyle Mathews. Nice miss there on Fitzwater. Yeah, that was just... They were 3 wide, about 3-4 rows deep, and you knew that that wasn't going to work, and they just didn't give enough room. Car down the bottom gets tight, slides up into the middle groove, and it's just on from there. So that's what puts us under the caution. Let's go back for yet another restart. Have a feeling this is not our last caution of the day, the way they are racing it up here in the second half of this race. Well, that caution just basically gave us a couple of laps under pacing and have a couple of drivers with ruffled fenders, because it really didn't change anything as far as the grid is concerned. Nobody out of the race after this incident, and still the same 6 cars remaining 1 lap down. So, as we get ready to line them back up, J Bryant out in front, Dallas McIntosh in second, but how about Tim Walch? He fought his way up to the 3rd position after that last run. Good run so far for the National Guard Chevrolet. James McCloud right there in 4th place. I mean, yeah, Dylan Poteet, his teammate, having a bad run today, but a good run there for that other Tweenix Racing entry. Brooke Allen right there in 5th. And then Dylan Young, Blaine Keys, K Tellier, Levi McIntyre, don't count them out. And you got Kev Shearer right now, the highest running of the Go or Go Home non-chartered cars. Solid outing for the 30, who took over the points lead for the non-charter series with a good run here 2 days ago. Bryant's able to clear the lap traffic. McIntosh did not clear Joshua Michaels, who is up to speed, by the way. Michaels only came to pit road and is a lap down because of, I guess, some kind of penalty or some strategy that didn't work out. So it's not like he's going to be an easy car to pass for these drivers. And he's playing dividends here, as now James McCloud used him as a pick to get second. Now here comes Brooke Allen, but the caution flag is out, so they're racing back to the yellow once again. Allen going to try and take that second spot from McCloud when they get back to the stripe, and she will complete the pass, so now she'll be the one that'll be following J Bryant to the next green flag. And it looks like we had another incident this time in turn 4. Non-charter car Phil Parker was involved, and he just got run into by Brooke Allen. Phil Parker was down on the apron. He came back up the track and right in front of the Taco Bell Chevrolet. I don't think Brooke's going to be too happy about that. And we're going to have to see if she's going to be able to stay out. Oh, no, she's coming to pit road. Oh, that is a tough break for Brooke Allen. That's what I said. Cars get to the start-finish line. They can't stop on a dime, and drivers that may not have left the scene of the accident in one playing a factor here. And Brooke Allen was running in the second position. I don't think Brooke's going to be very happy with that 87 car. But for now, let's take a look at yet another replay of what happened as we're getting close, very close to that 10 laps to go mark. And you saw just before we cut to this replay, Brooke Allen is out of the race. This is what brought out the yellow flag. Almost 4 wide again. L Alvarise getting hooked by Sean Gallighan and then slides right up in front of Phil Parker's Toyota Camry. Nice miss there by Z Flickinger. Oh, well, he got a little tap there in the back of his Dodge Dart. Oh, and he does go up and get the wall. That's a pretty hard lick there with the right front of that Bryant Dodge Dart. And that's going to bring out this caution flag. And as we saw, Phil Parker down on the apron, comes back up the track right in front of second place Brooke Allen, and as a result, the 3 car is out of the race. That is a tough, tough break for Brooke Allen. So Brooke Allen out of the race. She'll join Benjamin Miles as well as Matt Haas, Johnny Gardner, and Carson Gunn behind the wall. She'll finish 38th officially here today. As we get ready to go back to green, it was 6 drivers lap down, now make it 7. Phil Parker going to be the head of the lap down machines. We go back green, it's 15 laps to go. 5 laps from now, if a caution comes out and we restart, it'll be a single file restart, so keep that in mind. J Bryant will want to clear the lap traffic, but McCloud, McIntosh, Tim Walch, Dylan Young, they're all going to want to do that as well. So that way they have themselves a shot at being behind J Bryant on a restart with less than 10 to go. How about the rest of the top 10, though? Emmanuel Hartnett now up to 6th. 7th, Kev Shearer. Jake Baskinger is now up in 8th. Austin LaPlante now is up in 9th place. Great run for him. And completing your top 10 is Keith Batson. The green flag back out. J Bryant clears the lap traffic. McCloud clears the lap traffic. McIntosh and Tim Walsh, though, boxed in between the lap down machines. As now J Bryant may have a new suitor for that race lead. McCloud in the 51. McCloud, former winner this season back at Texas. He'd love to be able to go for 2 wins. Make it 4 wins this season for the Tweenix Racing boys. J Bryant trying to hang on, trying to pick up what would be, I believe, his 4th career Hersheys Cup Series victory. 2 wins back in Season 1, went winless in Season 2, had a win at Arizona back in last year, Season 3. Trying to win here at Dover, but McCloud is all over his back bumper there out of 2, and he's going to try and make a move going into 3. Can't quite get there, and the yellow flag is out. That may have saved J Bryant, at least for the moment. As coming to the line, caution will wave. Looks like another incident in the front straightaway. And it looks like they'll get through turns 1 and 2 safely, and nobody lingering in that area. There was a car that was on pit road under that last run, and it looks like Blaine Keys is the reason for this caution. Maybe Chris Dodd as well, and Kev Shearer is on pit lane, and he was inside the top 10 on that last restart. And this makes things very interesting, because if you look at it right now, we will be at less than 10 to go on this next green flag run. You got J Bryant, James McCloud, then the lap car of Cole Baker, and then Hartnett, Walsh, and Dylan Young. So it'll be very interesting to see. This is how they'll line up for the restart when we go back green. But for the moment, we're going to jump back, take a look at a replay of what happened. Looks like Kev Shearer the reason for this, our latest yellow flag. And Kev Shearer is not the reason for the caution. As a matter of fact, Kev Shearer, as I looked back, Kev Shearer actually dove to the apron out of 2 when we went back green. So there was some mechanical issue or something wrong with the 30 car. This is what brought out the caution. Chris Dodd going to get hooked by Blaine Keys. And Chris Dodd going to, oh, wow, get nosed right down into the wall. Blaine Keys nowhere to go. Garrett Sydnor cranks the wheel hard to the right to avoid. Nice avoidance by the Dr. Pepper Chevrolet, and he almost got ran over by Kyle Mathews for his trouble. Chris Dodd, who had a great run last week at Orlando, that good run moving up to 27th in points. Struggling here today at Dover. Blaine Keys, same issue for him. He was running up inside the top 10 at one point, but now found himself falling back and now finds himself with a damaged race car as well. Let's go back now and see what we're going to have set up for the finish of this race at Dover. So, we have not yet gotten the 1 to green signal, but as you can see, we are on lap 51 of 60, which means we will be restarting this race with less than 10 to go. Single file restarts. And it will be J.T. Bryant, James McCloud lining up 1-2. Then you got the lap machine of Cole Baker, who I believe is up to speed, not really damaged on that 18 car. Then you've got Hartnett, Walsh, Young, McIntosh. Then I gotta look back and see if there's any lap cars peppering there. Yeah, then you got the lap car of Joshua Michaels, the lap car of Brandon Gonzales, and the lap car of Phil Parker before you get to 7th place K Tellier. So right now, from a realistic standpoint, I would say the top 6 have a shot of maybe winning this race. The thing that they don't want to have happen is they do not want to see another yellow flag. Another yellow flag would maybe end this race, depending on when it comes out. If we have a yellow flag around lap 56, 57, race will more than likely end under caution. If we have a yellow flag come out between laps 53 to 55, we may get back green for a green-white checker, maybe a one-lap shootout. But J.T. Bryant today has been pretty strong since taking back the race lead. He took it away from his teammate Dylan Young under a green flag run and has not looked back. He hasn't been wanton of challengers, though. McCloud was actually almost taking the lead away from him a few minutes ago. Dallas McIntosh put up a fight a little bit earlier on. We're going to have to see what happens here. That lap car of Cole Baker could play a factor into all of this because he is up to speed. We'll have to see what he's going to do here as we get ready to go back green. It'll be with 8 laps to go here at Dover. Can we finish this under green, or will we see another yellow flag before all is said and done? Green flag is back out. Everybody timed it well. And J.T. Bryant did not scamper away. Look at Emmanuel Hartnett going to the inside of Cole Baker. He doesn't want to have to deal with the lap car. Tim Walsh is going to follow him. And they're going to set their sights on the top 2. Tim Walsh looked like he might have been thinking about for 3rd place, but nope, has to tuck in line in 4th. Dylan Young going to move by Cole Baker as well, as will Dallas McIntosh. So the top 6 are now clear of the lap traffic. McCloud hounding J.T. Bryant, but now he's got Emmanuel Hartnett on his back bumper to worry about. Hartnett going to peek to the inside into 3 for 2nd. Not going to be able to get there. Top 3 still single file. And the caution is out. The caution is out, but I believe we will get back green. The caution waves with about 6 laps to go when they hit the line there. I believe we will get back green flag racing. So that's what I was talking about. If we had a late caution, the race would more than likely be over. I think we're still going to have a chance of finishing this race under green flag conditions with a caution coming out as early as it did. And that was huge for Hartnett, Walsh, McIntosh clearing the lap machines. And who's that? Oh, it's Blaine Keys. 2nd straight wreck the 42 car has been involved in. And it looks like he's not going to be able to make it to the end of this race at U.S. Army Chevrolet, up in smoke. Oh boy. It's all led up to this. We're going to have a shootout to finish this one out. But let's, for the moment, go back and see what happened to Blaine Keys to put us into the caution for what could potentially be the final time today at Dover. Watch the left side of your screen, now heading over towards the right side up on the high side there. Levi McIntyre in the 99, John Arndt in the 05. Arndt's actually held up behind Dylan Poteet, who is damaged and off the pace, and that might have been what wadded him up. McIntyre's going to get into the left rear of John Arndt, turns him down into L Alvarise, and then Blaine Keys trying to turn low to avoid, going to nail the wall there, that inside safer barrier. Alvarez and Arndt go for a spin. A couple of former winners this season. And Blaine Keys at this point isn't smoking, but I think he's going to make some more contact with the Aaron's Dream Machine here in just a minute, and that's what's actually going to cause the engine to let go. No, apparently not. Does he maybe hit the pit wall further up? Because at this point, the car's not smoking. Is he going to hit the pit wall? I'll bet you he's going to hit the pit wall. Coming around here, and right there. Yep. Clobbers that edge of the pit wall. And that's what ends Blaine Key's day. Because for the most part, he got through that relatively unscathed. He got a good portion of his left front into the safer barrier there on the back straightaway. But he did a pretty good job avoiding the wreck. But that's what's going to take him out of this one. Okay, if my calculations are right, the light should go out atop the pace car this time by, and it will be a green, white, checkered to finish out this race. These drivers need only get to the white flag, to the line at the white flag, and we will race back to the checkered flag no matter whether the caution is waving or not. It's J Bryant the leader, second J McCloud, Emmanuel Hartnett's in third, fourth place Tim Walch, fifth Dallas McIntosh, K Tellier in sixth, and she actually cleared the lap traffic as well, as I believe Cole Baker went to pit road. Dylan Young also is clear of the lap traffic. No, Baker's actually back behind Dylan Young. So the top 7 are clear of the lap traffic for this restart. But is 2 laps enough time for a driver to work from 7th up to the race lead? I'm not so certain about that. J Baskinger runs in 8th. 9th is C Llamas, the defending winner of this race. And how about Trent Dunham? Got into some early incidents, and he's up in the 10th position in the closing stages of this race. J Bryant's done a good job holding drivers off, but he's going to have to do it for 8 more turns. 2 more laps. Can he do it? Fingers crossed we don't have a caution happen here with 2 to go. Hopefully, if it does happen, it happens on the white flag lap, so we still race back to the checkers. Here we go. Green-white checker here at Dover. Bryant tries to get the launch off. Tries to get away from McCloud. Here comes Hartnett for the 2nd position. Hartnett wasting no time. He'll move to the runner-up spot. Now he's got to try and close up about 3 car lengths gap between himself and the 22. Still green as we head through 3. We got to make it to the start-finish line. McCloud being left out to dry. He'll lose 3rd to Tim Walch. Maybe 4th to McIntosh. White flag displayed. We're going to go to the checkered flag. Hartnett trying to close the gap between himself and J Bryant. Down the back straightaway, still about 2 car lengths, 2.5 car lengths in hand. J Bryant just 2 more turns and he's home free. What a race for J Bryant. He'll hang on. First win of the season. He takes the checkered flag here today at Dover. J Bryant conquers the Monster Mile here today. A driver who came into this race 25th in the point standings finds victory lane for the 4th time in his Hersheys Cup Series career. First time this season in the Hersheys Cup Series. And I'm trying to remember back. I believe J Bryant was another driver that was much in the same boat as Benjamin Miles, like we talked about earlier on today, where he had a win, but he was not high enough in the point standings to have that win count towards a chase spot. Well, maybe trying to remedy that with an early win here today. First win of the season for Young Motorsports as well, and believe it or not, this is only the 2nd win of the season for Ford, 3rd win of the season for a manufacturer other than a Chevrolet. The other 2 wins, Ford of Anthony McCrury at Daytona, the Toyota of Matt Haas at Talladega. Standings official. Bryant with the win. Emmanuel Hartnett so close. Boy, he had a strong car at the end, but just didn't have the benefit of long green flag runs for us to be able to see what he was able to do. But a solid outing for him, a well-needed run for him, as he came into this race 32nd in the point stands. And, of course, you don't want to be 31st through 35th in the points finishing this season. Tim Walch, he'll finish the day out in 3rd, a solid outing for him. 4th place for Dallas McIntosh, and J Baskinger will finish out the day in 5th. He was another driver that kind of came from out of nowhere in the closing stages of this race. K Tellier, great run for her in 6th. McCloud was 2nd on that restart, drifted all the way back to finish in 7th. Cody Lamas will finish 8th, so I think he likes Dover. He's got some good finishes here in his career at this track. How about Jonathan Zorlin? We never talked about the 93 all day long, and he popped up into the top 10 for the finish of this race, the highest finishing non-charter car here today. Great outing for the 93 car. So two of the Fire Ice Racing machines having good runs today, with Hartnett 2nd, Zorlin in 9th. And Joseph Srigley, great run for him as he finishes in 10th. Srigley coming into this race is in the cellar, 35th out of the 35 chartered rides this season. So a great needed run for that driver in the 24. Trent Dunham will get 11th. Dylan Young ends up 12th. Zachary Fitzwater battles back for 13th, 14th for Keith Batson. Zach Flickinger will get 15th. The rest of your top 20 were Austin LaPlante, Chris Dodd, Levi McIntyre, Jessica Shelton, and Nathan Hudson. As you look on down through the remainder of today's finishing results, that's the first time I've ever seen oil pressure be a reason for retiring for Blaine Keys in the 37th position. 28 cars finished on the lead lap. The most notable driver of where he finished, D Poteet, two-time winner of the season and the points leader coming into this race, 35th place, 2 laps down here today. Joshua Michaels didn't fare much better. He came in 2nd in the point stands. He finishes 34th in the running order. The driver that might gain the most out of today's race could be Trent Dunham with his 11th place finish, but it's still going to be quite a gap between him and Dylan Poteet, I think, heading into next week's race. Next week we go to Richmond, so that'll be a very interesting race as well. J Bryant gets it done here today at Dover, though, taking the win. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown your full finish results. Up next, it's your rookie points and your overall points, as next week is the final race of the first half of the regular season at Richmond International Raceway. Hershey's Cup Series non-charter, Pizza Hut X Series, and Hershey's Cup Series main event racing going to be coming your way. Before we pack it all up, the drivers will get a bit of an off week as far as points on the line. They'll get a chance to race for $1 million, as we'll have All-Star Race Weekend coming to you from Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Seth Cole. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next week at Richmond, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.